Dude, when I heard Bristol was on dirt, I just was like, whoo! Especially, I was thinking about you because I know you love super speedways. Hey, everybody, welcome back. This is Blacktop Banter, episode 42, and we have a repeat guest. So, it's kind of crazy. You get some people that you get on the podcast and, you know of them, or, they talk to you once in a while, or it's over a special occasion. I don't think Spencer and I have stopped DMing each other all since the very first podcast and before. So I'm very hyped to have my friend Spencer back. And Spencer, I went through all your accolades last time. I will go ahead and let you go through them this time because they're starting to get to be a lot to list. But I do know the Talladega win is the fun one that we always talk about.
Yeah, man. Well, happy to be back, and really, this is the start of my sixth season in NASCAR. So feel really fortunate to be making this my career. And highlight moment, obviously that Talladega win for sure, and just yeah, another year top five most popular drivers. So happy with that. Thanks to a lot of fan support.
Yeah, and not only that, you're getting sponsors. Repeat sponsors are starting to be like, hey, this guy's pretty good. This is something we want to be part of. So, I really was super hyped to talk to you about the Bristol race, which is going to be on dirt, but we'll touch that in a little bit because, with 20 days or so left until you hit the big track, this might come out before then. So I'll make a point for it too. So let's talk about Daytona a little bit if you want to. It's coming. It's a super speedway. I know you love super speedways. Tell us about it and a little bit about preparation. And, you know, as a fan, you get hyped for Daytona. It feels like the Super Bowl of, NASCAR racing. So what is it like? What's the feel like, the electricity like as a driver starting that bad boy up and knowing you're going to be wrapping around Daytona?
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head when it comes to Super Bowl. That's definitely, obviously, I love watching the Super Bowl, and we compare Daytona to the Super Bowl. That's our first race of the year. It's
Yep.
kind of backwards compared to most sports.
Right.
So, yeah, we kick it off with a big bang. Obviously, super speedways are kind of my thing, and they've gone well for me. But I won at Talladega. Daytona is definitely like top of the list. That's where you want to win. Everyone wants to be on your race truck there.
Yeah.
But 2.5 mile super speedway, 190 mile an hour for 3 hours. Tensions are high, right? Everyone's packed together.
Yep.
So preparation is uh, the couple months leading up to the race is going to be reaction time training, just getting used to the heat again. Even though it's cool in Florida this time of year, it's still going to be about 110, 120 in the truck.
Hmm.
So after about 2.5 months off, you want to kind of get conditioned back for that because mentally at a speedway, it is all in your head. Like you're wide open on the pedal, just kind of judging the air, moving around throughout the pack. Uh, if you watch me for the last couple of years, I hang out kind of down on the bottom next to the line. That's kind of like what I figured out to be a safer spot.
Hmm.
These speedway races are long. You're going fast, but they feel like they take forever.
Right.
Uh, and obviously, the last lap is what matters. So being there at the end is key, and that's kind of what we run through our head day in and day out is how to avoid those wrecks, how to get around the guys that you're comfortable with, and make a plan.
Well, what about does your so this is your 6 year racing NASCAR. You've raced Daytona before. Does it change? Does anything change? Do you guys go in with like, hey, this is new this year? I know some stuff a little bit on the truck and stuff might, but your preparation conditions, like you said, it's going to be hot. I imagine you don't crawl into a sauna all the time getting ready for it, before Daytona. But like, is there very many changes from year to year and adjustments that you need to make?
Yeah, so on the competition side, when you look at the truck, not many rules have changed over the last 2 years for sure.
Mhm.
Last 5 years, there's been a few changes. The motor was a big change about 3 years ago. So now everyone has the same horsepower. which is kind of cool, right? One, it's good for budget. Two, it's good for competition. And three, if the guy that beats you has the same motor, then you're going to focus on a few other things.
Yep.
Aerodynamics are key. So I live above the body shop here
Yeah,
at Young's Motorsports. Yeah, our guys are working probably 17, 18-hour days getting the trucks ready. Realistically, you spend a lot of time in the wind tunnel changing the bodies, working on them. They have to fit a template, but there's a little wiggle room.
Yep.
So they're massaging things, and we're a 3-truck team. So if they go to the wind tunnel and figure something out, well, now you got to come back and you got to change it on 3 trucks.
Right.
So takes a lot of time. Those are the main things that we're going to work on is the body. And then as a driver, you're just going to do as many runs through the race as far as like watching old races, reading your notes. And like I said earlier, being around people that you're comfortable with is key. I mean, when you're racing 2-3 inches off of each other, you want someone that's level-headed that has the same goal as you.
Definitely. So one thing I was wanting to ask you about, because we were talking about Talladega and it being warm, obviously, when you're wide open on that pedal all the time, I know that the motor's running hot and your vehicle's running hot. You got a new helmet. I seen that, right? So this one has a venting system that how much does that thing play into keeping you freaking cool out there?
Yeah, so I mean, realistically, statistic wise, it doesn't look great on paper, but when you're out there, it's huge.
Yeah.
So it's going to take the outside air. Obviously, there's like a hose that
Yep.
connects to an aqueduct.
Yeah.
Yep. So the air gets forced in from outside, hits this box. The box is like a mini air conditioner. So it's going to kind of zap the air, cool it down, and it has another fan to keep that air moving quickly. And it's forced through a 2-inch hose into like a 1/2-inch hole right above the center of your head.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It probably drops like it's going to blow temperature like 10 or 15 degrees cooler from outside on your head.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. Then you get that mid-race sweat going.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
yeah, it's pretty mint.
We need that in the blacktop industry. We need something to cool us down, dude, when we're out there on it. I know the boys at APS would love it, and my guys would definitely love it, just to have something cool us down a little bit. What about the blacktop and your tires? I mean, I know you like to hug the bottom line, like you were saying. Is the asphalt different at Daytona than anywhere else? Because in Florida, you're getting down there to where some of that older pavement's got some different stuff onto it. I know that they redone it and stuff, but is there a different feel than anywhere else? Something that you take into account at Daytona because of the pavement?
Yeah, I mean, the pavement is crucial. We look at it everywhere we race. And that's what's kind of cool about what we're doing here and talking about paving. Realistically, back in the day, there was a lot of debris like shells and things within that asphalt. Now it's a lot smoother, a lot better. We race at night, so it's cooler, a lot of grip with those tires. We all run the same Goodyear tires. It's going to feel really good at a high rate of speed. At a low rate of speed, the tires are going to kind of, feel like they're out of balance, kind of blah, 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 blah. And once you get up to speed, everything feels really good. It's got a nice hum to it. But as the race goes on and your tires wear out, the rear end is going to slide. There's less weight on the rear end than there is the front. And there's a ton of downforce on the front. We're always trying to get downforce over the cab and into the back, into like the tonneau cover area. But that's tough, and they have rules to restrict that. So throughout the race, you'll start seeing people get a little sideways coming off the corner. It's not drastic, but it's enough to go through the corner like this and come off doing this, and there's a guy bumping you at 190 mile an hour. You're just trying to keep all the marbles going the right direction.
What's it like, dude, when you're running that fast and you see either somebody in front of you or somebody next to you start to see that back end slide a little bit?
Yeah. So, well, you can hear like everything is so amplified. I tell people it's like slow motion. When you're racing, you hear your motor, and it's just this constant at a super speedway. It's a constant hum. And when you start getting in the right aerodynamic and getting in the draft, you'll pick up 100, 200 RPM, and that tone, that pitch, it changed a little bit. But when you hear the guy next to you through the corner, just wow, start popping on that gas, you're like, oh, please don't get into me,
Right.
because there's really nothing you can do. Through the corner, the banking is so fierce. To go to the apron, it's such a drastic change. You can't just pull it down. If you pull away from them, you're gonna wreck. Hitting, the front bumper's gonna hit the ground. Tires are gonna be off the ground.
Crazy.
So bad scenario. So you're just hoping, please just keep it straight and hit everybody else but me. Avoid my teammates, but at the end of the day, we're worried about the American pavement truck, and that's about it.
It is, and that's another thing. The truck's looking good, man. I seen all the layouts for it and how everything looks. It's gonna look really good. I'd love to see everything beautiful on that truck at the end too, man. That'd be ideal. We talk about that, the Daytona race, and yet one thing that you and I were talking about leading up even before this was something that caught me as a point of interest. Is one of these tracks is going to have zero pavement this year, and that's completely new. Bristol is going to be dirt, and that's really the one I have a lot of questions about, because that throws a whole, used to be a road course was like, whoo, these boys are going to have to turn right now. You know what I mean? And it's like, this is something completely different. So maybe just give us a brief rundown of what they're doing at Bristol, how they changed it to dirt, and why, and what, just in general, what, because
Yeah.
that's a good question.
I mean, Bristol is such a popular race. Obviously, taking NASCAR back to the moonshine days. So, when you look at Bristol, when it has asphalt as normal, and it has super big banking, it's fast. You drive into the corner so deep before you let off the gas. It's like we say you're going to drive in when you see Elvis, get off the gas and get right back into it. So that's the big joke. But now they're taking probably 14 degrees of banking away, so it's going to go from a little over 30 to 19 degrees of banking.
Okay.
It's going to look totally different than anyone's ever seen Bristol, and it's going to be dirt. So we're going to be slipping and sliding. I don't know if they're going to call it the Mud Summer Classic or what. Hopefully it's not too wet. But really, NASCAR is not known for going dirt racing, especially in the last 40 years. So for a driver that came up wanting to be a NASCAR driver, dirt is not necessarily something you go spend a lot of time on. You may do it for fun. You may do it because it's an opportunity.
Yep.
But you're not going to spend a ton of time. So now we're all looking at each other like,
Okay.
who's driven dirt? Who's good at dirt? So when I look at my teammates,
yeah. Hey, can you come over here? I got a question or two for you, dirt guy. Yeah.
I mean, growing up in Missouri, I'm like, is it like driving on snow or
Right.
you guys got a lot more experience with snow than me, but
Yeah, sure.
we know that obviously you're going to get a little sideways, but the whole goal of dirt racing is just getting as much drive to that right rear tire as possible. If you can get the gas down, keep the tire hooked up, that's where the speed's going to be. You don't want to be completely sideways. What I've heard is a controlled slide, and I'll define that definition here later. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. When I think about that, how they're taking the pitch out, they must be putting a lot more dirt at the bottom line and then tapering out towards the top. Is that how they're going to do that? I mean, that'd be the only way you could take the pitch out, correct? They're leaving the asphalt underneath of it, right?
Correct. So yeah, they're leaving the asphalt. I think they may have put a little bit of gravel down, and then obviously dirt. And they're gonna, like you said, raise the bottom. I think they're gonna make the walls taller. Bristol has a like 10-foot wall at the bottom, just because if you wreck at Bristol, you're coming back down and you're hitting the inside wall. Period. It's gonna happen. The tracks at Bristol is very narrow, which most dirt tracks aren't super narrow. Normally, you can have like a bottom line, and then you're going to be the guys with the big kahunas are going to be up there next to the fence. And hopefully that's where we can get throughout the race, get our truck handling good up there. That's where the speed, momentum's going to be. But interesting for sure that NASCAR chose to do this, and they're going to do it for all three series. So there's no turning back.
No, it is what it is, man. At Bristol, too wide is like it pretty much most of the time, correct? And it's hard to juggle. any of those positions when you're going too wide and you're going in such a short, that short acceleration time and then the quick deceleration time. It's like, dude, when is something going to give? Well, now we're throwing all these guys in here on dirt, and something's going to give. Don't get me wrong. At some point, something's going to give. So there's going to be some jostling around a little bit. But what I don't want to get too crazy and get too involved and ask you too much that you shouldn't give away. But obviously, the tires are going to be different. Is your guys' suspension going to be different? The chassis that you use regularly, is that even going to be the same? Are you guys using one of the same trucks, Spence, or is it going to be something different?
Yeah, so it's going to look to the general person's eye the same. The ride height of the truck is going to be much higher than normal. The whole goal on an asphalt, normal track is to get the front end low, get all the CGs low, but keep that front end sealed off.
Yep.
And just the front splitter is close to the ground for the aero platform. Well, that's all out of the scenario now. So the truck's going to ride probably about 6 inches up off the ground. You got to compensate for ruts, things like that. It's almost like a dirt bike race. So the truck's going to be up high. What you'll notice, big difference, there won't be any side like valances down the side.
Yep.
Basically, where the body stops is where it stops, and you'll see the little pin for the jack when you do pit stops. No live pit stops either. They don't want you sliding into your pit stall on dirt.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, the tires will be treaded.
Okay.
So that's different. Obviously, we run, Goodyear's real slick, thin tires, real stiff sidewall. These are going to be softer sidewall, a lot of grooves, but you can't do anything to them. If you follow dirt racing, they cut and buff tires to put an angle in them, as well as set your stagger. That won't be something that we get to work with. And stagger typically helps a car turn. And that's going to be our main problem anyway. So it's interesting. It feels like the cards are stacked against you, but it's going to be fun. Everyone's got the same situation, which creates a really cool race. Obviously, the speed is going to be lower. So on TV, the logos are going to be more visible. So that's good.
Hey, that's
we'll be positive there, but it's cool. With a truck, the sheet metal is out from the tires quite a bit for the dirt race. So you can kind of get in there, lean on each other, and just get back to the old roots of racing and see what we can do.
Yeah. And, I raced on ice here, and it was that same kind of thing. We would offset that tire to the right on the four-wheelers. On our ATV, we'd set it offset a wider rim to the right, kind of like you see on midget racing, or outlaws, I guess they call them now. And
That's right.
And it's all that weight you wanted on that back tire, that exact same way. But the thing was, when you bumped, you were still kind of moving a little bit. Everybody still moved, and it really wasn't like, like you're going to experience at Daytona where you're like, oh my God, that guy's coming loose up there or whatever. You ain't going to really, it shouldn't impact it as much, but it makes for a great race. It makes you feel like, hey, if what I'm thinking is, during the race, if you're bumping somebody a little bit and everybody's still moving along at a good pace and we're fine, boys are going to get those cojones that you were talking about and be like, all right, we're going to lean on each other a little bit and dig around this track.
That's right.
The other question I had was, have they done this? Did they test this? Is there trucks that are made like yours and like, all the other cup cars where they've done this, tested this out and did it with these setups, or are they just like, hey boys, this is it, make it work?
So they ran a dirt race for trucks at Eldora, a lot less banking, and it was super successful. Cool. They've done it twice, but they've never done an Xfinity car or a cup car. So that's going to be brand new. We know the trucks can handle it, but Bristol, a lot more banking. It's going to be a lot different, and we're not in the Midwest. So out here we got some clay, which is probably going to create a different style of racing with the tire and how it's going to build up rubber. So that'll be interesting. And where are we going to pull officials from to monitor the dirt? Hopefully Tony Stewart has something to do with it because he's pretty good at
it. Yeah, most definitely. The one thing I was thinking was, most of the time when, you race on dirt, like we already talked about the outlaws, but most of the time MX, ATV, you know, something like that, and you're pulling off your goggles, you go ahead and pull a sheet of plastic off and throw that mud down. If your guys' windshields are caked, what's the game plan here? You know.
Yeah. So it's interesting. They've already hooked me up with this Swiffer for the inside because at night it builds up like frost.
Sure.
So that's awesome. Not sure how you're gonna do that except under caution.
Right.
And then uh, they put this like deflector. So you know, like on the front of like an 18-wheeler or
Yep.
decked out old man's truck, they got the bug deflector.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have that on the hood. They're clear. They're about 8 inches tall, and they're at like 45 degrees. So when
Yep.
you go off in the corner, the mud's gonna hit it and hopefully send the mud up over the windshield.
Okay, I got it. They're using physics. They're gonna figure that
Yeah.
coming off of the tires at a 45-degree angle, and it's gonna catch and go over the windshield. You won't have to worry about it. What's funny is
Yeah.
when you guys are gonna be sideways like this, and this tire's aiming straight at your window, your side window,
Yep.
you know, and just cake.
That's when you just wreck that dude.
Oh,
Get rid of
so
him.
crazy! It's so crazy. It's so crazy to think about that this is happening. But I love it, you know, that they're like, hey, here we go, boys. You have to deal with it. Let's talk about some other stuff, and especially this.
Yeah, there it is.
The boys are back. They've been doing their thing. Love the boys. Matt talked to that fella all the darn time. They're gonna be. I know they're very hyped because as we were talking, this is the Super Bowl. You know, the Super Bowl in NASCAR. So I know they're very hyped to be back with you, be down there. They're doing some big things too. With Raised On Blacktop, you have sponsors, like I said, coming back. Some exciting ones. I know that you're excited for. When it comes to your social, Spence, where can everyone find you? Because your Instagram is buzzing all the time. I even got some. I even got some of the seasoning, dude. That you use. Danos, right?
Sweet, man. Danos. I love it.
Dude, it's
I
really
put
good.
it on a lot of chicken, a lot of spicy chicken up in here. But man, Matt, the Stanley family, really cool. We got linked up. It all started over Instagram and found Raised On Blacktop and was like, cool. He shipped me out a hoodie and we just started talking and they came on board for Las Vegas last year. Cool race. Had them out and Vegas, regardless of a race or not, it's got to be a good time. So it was cool to meet everybody. We had a great time. Then COVID,
Right.
you know, things got really weird for NASCAR, and luckily we were one of the sports that could keep going. And stayed in touch with Matt, and he is like social media savvy, man, super good, like yourself. You guys are really putting the paving industry like on the map, getting people outside of paving excited about paving.
Yep.
I mean, I drive by paving jobs, asphalt going on, and I smell it, and I'm like, man, miss my boys.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. So, we've been getting walked on for years. People driving right. all over us, bro. It's about time we rise up. You know, no, it's cool.
It's very cool what you guys are doing, and you know, the support I've gotten from so many different businesses across the country, and everyone has one thing in common. And my dad has said it for a lot of years. HWP, hard work pays. You guys are out in the weather. You guys work extremely hard, and you put a product out there that has to last, and everyone can see it. So it's not a job where you can cut corners, and I love that.
Yeah, I mean, think about your job. It's really hard to cut corners in your job, man, for sure.
We try. It's faster to cut corners, right? So my race was a little shorter than the next guy, but it's cool to see what's similar across and the work ethic between what you guys do and what my team does. Obviously, it takes a team for you guys to do a good job, and for me, I got a great group of guys coming back. Made a few changes, which is always nice. You want to make changes to go in the right direction, and we're going to be wearing this red really proud come Daytona, like you said, our Super Bowl.
Cool, dude. Very excited. Very excited. I know we're going to be watching. We're very good. I ordered my shirt today, the number 20, the autograph one. So I want to wear that gray one with the red 20 on it. And dude, we're going to be super excited to see you at Daytona. I'm going to be myself personally excited to see you at Bristol too. And you never know, dude. It's like any given Sunday, is just like that for the racing world too. Anything could happen any day, and the things are right. You put in the hard work, and eventually it's going to come forward. I know that's what the boys at APS do. That's what we do. I know that's what you do. So I'm very excited, dude, and we're very excited to have you back. Any last things, any last words that you want to say before we sign off?
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you having me on. Second time, very cool.
Very cool.
Appreciate to be a part of it, and I rock your hat as much as I can.
Cool. Well, we're gonna get some Blacktop Banter ones made, and I'll get them shipped out to you pretty soon, dude. So very cool. All right, man. Thanks a lot, Spencer Boyd. Got Daytona coming. We got dirt coming. We got the American Pavement Raised On Blacktop truck coming. There's a lot going on. Instagram's gonna be popping. I can tell you that much. So we'll be very excited. Thanks a lot, and dude, we'll have you back soon.
Awesome. Thanks,
Cool.
guys.
Well, for Blacktop Banner, we want you to pave it, stripe it, seal it, and kill it. Peace.